Today's flow is an upper body flow. Don't be intimidated. Although it's 7 exercises, it's really just 3 because we're transitioning between each one. You're going to be doing 1 rep of each exercise. We'll go through the whole thing on one side, the whole thing on another side, and then you're going to go back 3 times in total before you put the kettlebell down. So I'm going to demonstrate it in slow motion, explain what's going on, and then I'm going to actually do the side to side for 3 full reps. So that way you can see what it looks like and you can follow along while you're doing your workout. So the first exercise is a dead clean. So the kettlebell's between your feet. We clean it up. Then we press it up. From here we do a windmill. Feet go at a 45-degree angle. You bend the front leg as you hinge and send that hip up and back. It's a pretty shallow hinge. I'm looking up at the bell. And then I stand up, bring the bell down. 4th movement, bent over row. From here, just twist my wrist, hinge a little more, dead clean, another overhead press into a reverse Turkish get-up. So my opposite leg goes back, I come down, open up, hand goes on the floor, sit down and roll all the way onto your back, and then come up, fist to the ceiling, come to your seated position, up to the tripod, and then all the way up to standing. So how is that really 3 exercises? The first one is really just a windmill. We had to clean the weight up, get it up overhead, and then you do your windmill. From the windmill, you go into a bent over row, and then from a bent over row, we're doing a reverse get up. So you've got to get from here to having the weight up overhead. So we clean press, and then the reverse get up happens. So as you can see, it's not as complicated as it might look when it's written out in the program. Now I'm going to go through 3 times side to side so that way you can follow along. Another tip, if your mat is a rectangle, you want to be facing the short side, face the long side of the mat like I am here, because when you go to do your reverse get up, if you're facing this way, you'll end up laying down this way. So let's go. Hinge down, dead clean, overhead press. Feet go 45 degrees. We do a windmill, hinge down, stand up, kettlebell comes down, bent over row, dead clean, press, reverse get up. Feet come together, opposite leg to the kettlebell goes back, open the leg that's up, hand goes down on the floor, kick through, roll to your back, and then come back up, come to the hand, hips up, close, stand, and now don't put the bell down, switch hands. Dead clean, overhead press, windmill to the other side. Bend the front leg a little bit, hinge that hip up and back, look up at the bell, don't let your spine round, stand up, toes come forward, bring the bell down, hinge, bent over row. Now we're going to dead clean, overhead press, reverse get up on the other side. Opposite leg goes back, come down to the knee, open the leg, run your hand down your thigh. Now look up at that bell as you kick your leg through, roll back onto your back. If you need a rest, this is your time to rest. That kettlebell stays up. It's the least amount of work you're doing this whole time. Roll up to the elbow, come to your hand, hips up, sit back, come tall, bring the kettlebell down. Now we have to do this 2 more times on each side before the bell goes down. Hinge, switch hands with the bell. Dead clean, overhead press. Feet come together right underneath you, 45 degrees. Do your windmill, hinge, and stand up. Kettlebell comes down. We do a bent over row, and then a dead clean, an overhead press, and then a reverse Turkish get up again. Opposite leg goes back. Leg that's up opens, hand goes down on the floor, kick through, roll back, and again, if you need a break, this is where you take it. Make sure your wrist is straight, shoulder is packed into the socket, come up to your butt, hips up, sit back, come up, leg closes, and stand, bring it down. We're going to the other side again. Dead clean, overhead press, feet go 45 degrees away from you. Hinge that hip up and back, up and back, up and back, and then stand up. Toes come forward. Now we do the bent over row into a dead clean, overhead press, and a reverse get up. From here, opposite leg goes back, knee goes down. Open the leg that's up, run your hand down your leg. Now I look up at the kettlebell and I kick through. Make sure my elbow comes down first, roll all the way to the floor. You can rest here if you need it. Make sure the wrist is straight, arms locked into the shoulder socket. Roll up, come to your hand. Hips come up and sweep that leg through so it comes in line with your hand. Sit back to come up. Close the up leg, stand tall. Now we have to do this one more time on each side. I know it's getting tiring. Hinge, dead clean, press. Feet come right underneath your hips, 45-degree angle with those toes. The hip goes back and up as I do my windmill. Hinge, hinge, hinge. There should be a hard stop if you're doing this correctly. Stand up. Kettlebell comes down. Hinge and bent over row, straight into a dead clean. Another overhead press. And then we do the reverse get up. Opposite leg to the kettlebell goes back. Up leg opens. Run your left hand down your thigh. Look up at the kettlebell, kick through, and roll back. From here, come to your elbow. Hand, hips up. Sweep the knee through. Sit back. Close the up leg and stand. And now we have one more full rep on the other side. Dead clean. Make sure that back stays flat in your cleans. Feet come together to do your press. Feet should now be underneath the hips. 45-degree angle with those toes. Hinge. The kettlebell is over the leg, that hip that is hinging. And stand up. Toes come forward. Kettlebell comes down. Hinge. Nice flat back. Bent over row. Kettlebell dead clean. Overhead press and one more final get up. Leg opposite that arm goes back. Knee comes down. We open the up leg. Hand runs down the thigh. Look up at that kettlebell now. Sit down, roll back, and now try not to take too much rest because we are at the end. Roll up to your elbow, come up to your hand, hips up, sweep the knee through, sit back, close the leg, and stand up. That was one full round. You're gonna repeat that 2 to 4 more times for 3 to 5 rounds total. Good luck.